Okay.
These houses were all built during the Second World War. All of this used to be fruit orchard, all the way down from one end to the other. Nothing but fruit. Peaches, pears, apples, grapes, plums, you name it. And they dug it all out and built these homes. And there was nobody in these homes but blacks. But now it's predominantly white. Every time a black person moves out, a white person buys it and moves in. And
Did you ever think you'd see that day?
I never thought I'd see that. Sure didn't. But you can count. There's a Chinese family down there where Tyrone lived. And they bought down there. And where Margaret Jane lived, there's a white family. Of course, you know that's a white family there. And on down, you know, like I say, it's predominantly white now.
What do you remember about growing up in Wyoming?
How free it was, and how everybody knew everybody, and there wasn't any crime at all. We all had a good time playing together with the white kids and the black kids, and it was just a fun place to be, a nice place to grow up in. There was no crime. You weren't afraid to walk the streets at night. You could leave your doors open all night, your windows open all day and all night, and nobody would ever come in or bother you. You could leave your bicycles or your wagons or whatever, even out on the sidewalk all night, and nobody would ever bother them.
What was it like during the war?
During the war, I was 15 years old when the Second World War broke out, and I don't remember too much about that. It was still Wyoming, you know, still good, still nice. You got along with everybody.
Do you have a lot of friends that went to war?
Yes, I did. A lot of guys I knew that I was friends with in Lincoln Heights, because at the time, Lincoln Heights wasn't as bad as it is now. And my brother went to the Second World War, and my stepfather was in the Second World War, and they were all missed, but we made it, and I just would never want to live any other place but Wyoming. My husband and I had looked at houses elsewhere, but I just did not see anything I thought worthwhile leaving Wyoming for. I wanted my children to grow up in Wyoming and go to Wyoming school, because we had the best school that was around, and I liked Wyoming. You know, people would take care of your children if you weren't around. If your kids got into anything, they could make a mind and come back and tell you, and you wouldn't get mad, because everybody took care of everybody's children. They made sure that they didn't get into anything they didn't have any business getting into, and the schools were segregated. That was one thing that
I need you to look up at me, okay?
The schools were segregated. That was one thing that wasn't too good.
You went to segregated schools?
I sure did.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to school at Wyoming on Oak Avenue, where there was nothing but 4 rooms when I first started in school. And they had the kindergarten and the first grade in one room. The 3rd grade and 4th grade was in one room. The 5th grade, the 6th grade was in one room. The 7th grade, the 8th grade was in one room. And the 9th grade, well, it was kind of in one room. But the school was segregated. We weren't allowed to go to Wyoming High School until we got in the 10th grade. We had to graduate from the 9th grade at Oak Avenue, and then we were sent to Wyoming High School.
What was it like when you first mixed it up with the white kids?
It was nice. They were friendly. With me, I always dressed real nice, and so therefore I was complimented all the time. But the kids were nice. Yeah, some of the teachers weren't too. I don't think pleased with so many blacks being there, but there was no other place for us to go.
Okay, what's the biggest difference you see, or do you like living here now as opposed to when you were younger, or is it just all the same?
I like it better now, you know.
Why?
Because you're recognized more so now than you were when I was a kid.
What do you mean recognized?
You know, you're able to get involved in a lot of things now that you weren't when I came along. I'm 84 years old. That's been a long time.
What kind of games did you all play when you were a kid?
We played baseball out in the street, hide and seek at night. We played, you take the ball and try to hit each other with it. We raced, up and down the street. Raced each other. We had nowhere to go but out in the middle of the street. When cars come, you had to scramble and get out of the street. So, that's about all. But baseball was one of the main things, And the kids played basketball,
Why do you think you and all your cousins stayed here?
I stayed here because I didn't want to go anywhere else. I looked at other places, but I just didn't want to go anywhere. And I think, like Mark and Poppy thinks that's the best move he made, is moving out of Wyoming, And I think it's the best move that you made. You couldn't get a job nowhere here. And I think those of us that stayed because we wanted to.
What do you think, what advice would you give people who want to move here?
Well, I tell them that it's a beautiful community, that we have one of the best schools around, if you got children. That's why a lot of people move here now, when they have children. That's why that lady bought Lenny's house, because she's got a son still in the Wyoming school, and she wants him to finish. That's why Sharon moved, because she wanted her son to go to Wyoming school. And I think that, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people move here. And I'm too old now to even think about going anywhere else. But when I was younger, the thought came in my mind, and I looked, but I didn't see anywhere I wanted to